Cincinnati had one of the most explosive and efficient passing offenses in the NFL last season. Joe Burrow led the NFL in PFF grade, on target rate, and yards per attempt, but they also ran one of the simplest offenses in the NFL. A significant majority of Cincinnati's passing production was just isolated go routes to Ja'Marr Chase. If we look at Joe Burrow's passing heat map, and this is courtesy of PFF, the red parts of this diagram are areas of the field that Joe Burrow targeted more frequently than other quarterbacks in the NFL, and then the blue parts are the areas that he targeted less frequently. So you see deep shots down the right sideline, intermediate passes 5 to 10 yards from the line of scrimmage, and then screen passes to the left. That really makes up the majority of Cincinnati's passing offense. No team relied on pure high-end talent more than the Bengals, and in some ways that reflects poorly on Zach Taylor. I don't think he's a great offensive coach, but I don't necessarily blame him for just letting the playmakers on his team take over, because Joe Burrow is the most accurate deep passer in the NFL. If we look at QB accuracy on throws of 15 plus air yards, Joe Burrow is far and away the most accurate quarterback throwing down the field. And Ja'Marr Chase is one of the best deep threats in the NFL. He had 485 yards from go routes and fade routes in 2021, which led the NFL. And the main reason that Ja'Marr Chase is so successful creating separation down the sideline is how refined his release package is already. On this rep against Marlon Humphrey, he takes short strides to close the space before exploding into an outside release and making a nice adjustment. Right here, Michael Davis is trying to jam him at the line of scrimmage, but he's just so twitchy. He dodges both punches, and then really good hands at the line of scrimmage to make sure that he isn't providing an open target. And then as he's trying to transition from his release into stacking his receiver, this transition that he's using right here is called the wipe technique. Really impressed with how advanced Ja'Marr Chase's hand usage is. For someone who, coming out of college, there were questions about his ability to release against press, I was just blown away by how polished that aspect of his game was. So when you have an offense like Cincinnati's that's so simple and so reliant on players winning one-on-one matchups, there's two questions you've got to answer. Number one, is it sustainable? And number two, is there room for improvement? And I actually think the answer to both questions is yes. So it's a lot harder for defenses to scheme against passing offenses that attack the sideline, because just putting another safety deep doesn't necessarily protect you against hole shots. Whether you were in split safety or single high, that had no effect on Joe. There's a lot of reasons the Bengals offense could be even better. First of all, Cincinnati had one of the worst offensive lines in the NFL last year, especially when it comes to pass protection. Joe Burrow was great under pressure, but you obviously want him working from a clean pocket. And Cincinnati made serious upgrades on the O-line. The right side went from being a liability to potentially a strength. Trey Hopkins is a bit underrated, but I think you still upgraded at center. Jackson Carman, I'm not a huge fan of, but probably a wash at left guard. And then Jonah Williams is what he is, just a solid left tackle. So as long as they're healthy, it's hard to imagine this offensive line not being noticeably better. And on top of giving Joe Burrow a clean pocket and keeping him upright, that's going to force Joe Mixon to waste fewer snaps in pass protection, so you're sending out more routes every play, getting Mixon more involved in the passing game. And then there's also a chance Ja'Marr Chase has some regression to the mean when it comes to drops. He had 11 drops as a rookie, and a lot of times that isn't stable year to year. He didn't really have drop issues in college, so that's going to be something that we'll have to wait and see on. So even though I'm not really sold on Zach Taylor, I'm a huge fan of Cincinnati's offensive personnel, and I expect the Burrow to Chase connection to become even more effective in 2022.